Good day, my peeps. Hope you're all doing well, being safe. And it is October 26th, 2021. I wanted to put out a video real quick to kind of summarize why I asked the question I did on Facebook this morning about some of the buzzwords. And I had a personal reason for doing so. It wasn't necessarily to do this, but one of the couple of the words that I've seen being used over the last few weeks and months is one is gaslighting. Another one is narcissism or narcissists. A couple people pointed out on the thread some current ones. But all in all, I wanted to see of all the buzzwords that are kind of put out into our, I don't know if you want to say vernacular at this point, but out into our environment, are they positive or are they negative? Do they inspire you, or do they do the opposite? And I say that I'm pointing this out because I think it's so funny that over the years, 12, 10, 12, 15, whatever, 20 years ago even, if I were to get into conversations with people and they were more than just superficial conversations, it would always, and it's definitely my fault for sure, but they would always kind of go into the direction of politics and economics. Simply because, one, well, I used to enjoy talking about those things, and economics I kind of still do, but two is because of where we're at today. People like myself kind of saw this reality coming, and certainly people have said it before I was even born, so it's not like something I did or how great I am. In fact, I don't necessarily even believe in original thought, but that's a different video and conversation. But I wanted to see if people, what they would write, and to see if it was negative or positive, because like I said years ago, I talk about these things and people would project onto me, and they would affix a label to me that simply wasn't true. So while the conversation to them might seem negative, or they might label it that way, they would also erroneously affix that label onto me as a person and to my character. And the opposite couldn't be more true. I love my life. I love my family. I love nature and this planet more than I could ever express into words. And it's why I was that way. It's why I'm doing this video. It's why I even am on any form of social media, is because I want to try to get people to think about things a different way. Not that I'm right, and I don't want people to think exactly like I do, but it would be great if people could think about the sociopaths that are ruling over them and think about certain things and get down to the root equation and the root causes of certain things, because the government is so great in doing that. They throw out these little nuances into these topics, like kneeling for the flag and the national anthem and stuff, and the government and the media throws these things out there to get people to go at each other's throats, when really we should analyze these things. Because when the anthem is played, I think about the smoke, and I think about the blood, and I think about all the lives that were lost and destroyed, not just dying from the war, but the widows and the kids that were 3 that never grew up to have a dad, or the brothers that were killed. I think every time the anthem's played about those things. And then the things that drive me crazy is that I understand why they're kneeling, but the media drives this frenzy. And this is one example out of many I could give that the media does this to, and the government that wants to retain power and get more power over your lives, that they keep doing this stuff to you guys. I think about one thing when the song plays, and it drives me absolutely insane, because I understand, and I respect the thought and idea and practice of what's going on, but the line in there, land of the free, we're not free. We are 100% not free in this country. And then enter now moral relativism and all this relativistic viewpoints of I shouldn't say more necessarily moral relativism in terms of what I just said, but relativism in terms of self-justification. Well, we're more free than other people and we have it so much better than everybody else. It's like, stop being relativist. Stop self-justifying these things when really you need to ask yourself, here's my question for you guys. What do you have against other people who want to just live their lives? If they aren't oppressing you, if they aren't being violent against you, if they aren't causing any chaos in your life, what is it to you? The reason it's something to you is because you have a group of sociopathic ruling elite that foment this unrest and this absurdities among people. That's what's happening. But why can't I live my life how I want to live my life? If I'm not infringing on your personal rights and civil liberties, if I'm not using violence and aggression to get my way, then what's it to you? Why should you have a problem with it? And most people will say, well, I don't. Well, yes, you do, because you vote. Voting is an act of aggression. You vote for your rulers to rule over me. And that's the problem I have with the national anthem. That's the problem I have with a lot of with government and all of these things that are going on, is that until our systems and our bureaucratic agencies really truly value freedom, do you think we're going to really truly value freedom? Yourselves or any others for that matter? You're being taught and you're being led down a road that doesn't value that. And they want to get you to fight about these things because then you don't have to address these issues. The one I just asked, what do you have against me doing? And people say, well, I don't have it. You can go live how you want to. No, I can't. I can't because I have a slave tax. I have a real estate tax. I can't ever own any land. I've said this before in other videos. Yeah, great. I want to go live off 120 acres. I could buy it right now. I can go in the hills of Tennessee or Montana or wherever, and I can do my thing. But I got to pay county taxes on. I got to pay taxes on that land. Well, if I can't, now I got to earn an income, and the government now wants to know every $600. They want to know. I mean, you see what I'm saying? This is why I complained 10, 12, 15, 20 years ago. It's because of where we're at today. And mark my words, you guys, this is going to get much, much, much worse until you come together with the people that you think are wrong, that you hate, that you talk behind other people's backs about. Until you can come to them and extend an olive branch and say to yourselves, you know what, I might not know for sure. I might actually be wrong. I want to understand you. That's the first rule of communication. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. So where's the proof versus your conjecture? Where's the proof that you can actually say and know anything? That what you actually believe is true. How do you know that it is? Because the TV told you so? By the way, go in and research what television waves actually do to your brain. It's an interesting topic. It'll lead you down other courses of psychological impalements, but it's a crazy topic that'll lead you elsewhere. So this whole the whole question was, and I love people that come to me. I've had people in person, online, people that I know, people that I don't know, say, you know, I don't always necessarily agree with you, and sometimes I have to not say anything, but you always get me to think a certain way. Well, I've had great teachers. Emerson was one of my favorite literaturists. I read a lot of Lyndon Spooner, Mencken, Mark Passio. If you want somebody that's still alive today, that you want to research into kind of what I'm talking about, and natural law. He's big into natural law and having our laws as they exist based on natural law. It's Passio. Larkin Rose, he's alive today, probably about my age, maybe a little. He kind of actually broke the back for me moving from Democrat to Republican to Libertarian to finally an all-out voluntarinist / anarchist, which, by the way, doesn't mean no rules. It means no rulers. And so, and this is another thing too. I think people have become so unidimensional and myopic in their thinking, in that, you know, and this comes into programming too, by the way. So because we are 100% programmable, anarchy does not mean without rules. It means without rulers. And so I don't believe in having a sociopathic ruling elite rule over me or you. But I do believe in hierarchies. I believe hierarchies need to be formed from time to time to get things done. Now, whether or not coercion and violence and aggression exist within that, I don't think they should. And that's the basic premise of what anarchists kind of vow for. We don't want to be oppressed. We want to live our lives our own way. And so why should I be forced to live your life, the one that you want to live? You know, I'm not. I haven't been asked if I want stratospheric aerosol injections of barium and aluminum and every other chemical sprayed in the upper atmosphere. I was never asked, and I don't want that. I was never asked if I want 5G networking, not because I believe that it's going to turn me into a zombie, or that Project Bluebeam is going to be able to take over my brain, or what. I don't believe in any of that. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying it is. I can't prove it, so I don't care. I'm just saying I don't need to download 40 movies to this in 1.7 seconds. I don't want that system, but I'm ultimately forced to pay for that, and that's wrong. It's 100% wrong, and there are solutions, and if you want a solution video, I'll send it to you. I'll make one, because there are good solutions out there. I have a few. Other friends of mine have good solutions as well. We've talked about them. But yeah, I mean, if you're for the direction of where our country's going, and you're for these ruling classes, almost got them, these ruling classes ruling over you, you're no better than Hitler. You're no better than Stalin. You're no better than the dictators that want to come in and assert their authoritarianism over you. And it's happening. It's happening right in front of your eyes. And people say that, well, how did these people board the trains? Didn't they know it was coming? It's psychological manipulation. And speaking of teachers, comedians are great teachers too. George Carlin, love George Carlin. Bill Hicks had one. Bill Hicks was a great comedian, one of my favorites. He did a joke one time. He was asked the audience, he asked the members, he's like, "Is there anybody in the room that's into marketing and advertising?" And a couple people clapped their hands, and he's like, "Oh, good. Go out and kill yourselves." And a couple people kind of chuckled, and he's like, "No, there's no joke. That's a punchline. That's it. Go kill yourselves." Because he understood what I'm saying, and he understood what you would understand if you do research on it, is that we are 100% controllable by the mind. We are 100% brainwashable. And so do you even have a thought that you can certainly say is your own? And I like I said before, I don't believe in original thought. And so I'm very careful with what I think I believe and what I think I know. But I center most of the time, I center my opinion on freedom, and the idea of, is this using force and aggression and violence and coercion to get my way, or is it allowing people to do so voluntarily and naturally? And if it's not doing it with the latter, I'm not going to be for it, no matter what it is. And I'm not saying I'm right, but I'm saying there's got to be a better system than there is right now, which, again, I will put out a video if somebody requested of solutions. But I've had conversations with people, and real quick, and I'm going to end it with this, but I have put out solutions to people, and they always justify it, and they'll always say, yeah, but, or, well, what if? And it's like, here's the thing, and I put out this I did a Wild West video a while back on my YouTube channel, and I just thought it was interesting. But people always say that it's always these absolutes, you know. But what if this happens? Well, here's the thing, folks: is our system perfect? Not even close. And so why should I have to prove that my solutions are going to be perfect? Because I can already say that they're not going to be perfect, but they're going to be 1,000% better than what we have right now. And so ultimately, I think that people we need to just stop, step back, take a deep breath, and then ask ourselves, what do I really know for sure? What can I really prove for sure? Because I think it'd be really interesting if, like, if we're in the middle of a wedding or a graduation or some birthday party or just out with friends having fun, and the Grim Reaper just all of a sudden he shows up and says, 2.5 weeks ago you made this comment online, or last month when you were talking to so and so, you said this, and then you proceeded to make fun of them behind their back with other people because, and I'm going to give you one last opportunity. Is what you said true? And if you say yes and you're wrong, I'm going to kill you. And I think obviously you can't go to that point, and it's the point. It's not absurdity, I guess, but it's kind of the point, arguing that point to absurdity. But just being like that absolute in what you think you know. Maybe you probably don't know everything that you do, and maybe you don't know everything that you should. Maybe there's other things in situational underpinnings that might influence, might change your mind. But if you're not even open to changing your mind, and that's what kind of why this video isn't for status. If you're a statist and you're all for we need government, it's not going to be me that's going to change your mind. Something along the way might make you change your mind, but it's certainly not going to be this. I mean, I don't know, maybe, but anyway, just some things to think about. I just find it ironic, like I said in the beginning, that I was labeled as a negative person, and now here we are 15 years later after me trying to tell people where we're headed. But go out and be nice to one another. Love one another. That was the greatest commandment that our Creator gave us, wasn't it? To love one another. Maybe we should start doing that again. And part of that love is accepting and listening and trying to understand. Because that is the first rule of effective communication. Seek first to understand. So with that, I will say have a great day. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. And stay safe out there.